The story of hip-hop would never be complete without the story of Wu-Tang Clan. And the story of Wu-Tang Clan would never make sense without mention of Old Dirty Bastard.
Rap, hip-hop, rap. One for the trouble, two for the time. You know, it's basic. See, I'll take it to the next level.
ODB, as we'll call him throughout this video, wasn't the most talented lyricist in the 9-man group. I mean, how could he be with a lineup that included Method Man, Raekwon, and Ghostface Killah? But despite not being the most talented lyricist in the group, ODB was by far the most famous, and it was for both good and bad reasons. ODB was wild and unpredictable, and these factors endeared him to hip-hop fans, making him become one of the biggest rappers in the late 1990s. He got arrested, crashed award shows and performances, had a shootout with the police, and even almost lost his kids to the system after a stunt with MTV. But before there was ever Crazy Old Dirty Bastard, there was young Russell Tyrone Jones, and he was born into a stable and middle-class family. Unlike most other members of Wu-Tang Clan, ODB grew up with both of his parents still married, and even lived in areas where the crime rate was low. As a teenager, ODB began rapping with his cousin Rakim, or RZA, and his friend Gary, who would later become GZA. ODB's rap style was unique. He had a sing-song feel to his rhythm, and this was definitely an influence of his parents' old soul records. Later, the trio, ODB, RZA, and GZA, formed a rap group, Force of the Imperial Master. But after releasing a successful underground single titled All In Together Now, the group changed their name to the title of that song. Seeing that they could do so much more as a group, they expanded to include 6 more members, including Inspector Deck, U-God, Raekwon, Master Killer, Capadonna, Method Man, and Ghostface Killah. Shortly after the group was formed, Wu released their debut album in 1993, Enter the Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers, and it would go on to achieve critical and commercial success.
Started off on an island, AK Shannon, brothers wailing, gunshots, stone and phone dialing.
While Wu-Tang was slowly becoming an influential rap group, ODB was also slowly becoming a household name. Of course, this was partly because of his unique rap style and the rawness and grittiness of his work, but it was also because of his many brushes with the law. In 1993, he was arrested and charged with attempted robbery, forcing him to spend some time in jail. The next year, he somehow escaped prison, but this didn't keep him out of trouble, as he was shot just a few months after he got out of jail. By 1995, Wu-Tang Clan had become one of the greatest hip-hop groups, and due to a caveat in their contract that allowed all members to pursue solo careers, ODB was tirelessly working on his first solo album. On the 28th of March, 1995, ODB released Return to the 36 Chambers, the dirty version, and thanks to hit singles like Brooklyn Zoo and Shimmy Shimmy Ya, the album was certified platinum.
I'm the one-man army, son. I never been tooken out. I keep MCs looking out. I drop signs like Crosby dropping babies, enough to make a nigga go crazy.
But despite having a highly successful album, 1995 also marked the year that ODB became infamous for his antics in the United States. In the spring of 1995, he publicly received oral sex in the presence of hundreds of people in Miami. Shortly before this, he had also crashed the performance of the Lost Boys at the Palladium in New York City, strolling on stage while the group was right in the middle of their set. But this wasn't the end of it. In just 1 month, ODB was arrested, shot, and eventually hospitalized. It all began when the rapper broke into a stranger's house for no reason and was attacked by a dog. Later that month, he was shot for refusing to give his jewels to thieves who were trying to play a fast one on him. Unfortunately, one of his most defining moments as an artist and individual happened on March 30th, 1995, just 2 days after his debut album. The cover for his debut album was his identification card for food coupons, in allusion to the time when he had to depend on the government for food. Being one of the biggest and fastest rising rappers at the time, MTV offered to do a piece on ODB, and this would involve filming almost every detail of the rapper's day. On this day in 1995, ODB, who had recently gotten an upfront payment of $45K, pulled up in a limo to pick up food stamps and a welfare check of $375.
Just look how I'm living, baby. You know what I'm saying? Anybody got a quarter?
Thank you.
There were many things wrong with this. ODB didn't need a food stamp for $375. Then how was he eligible for welfare? As soon as this MTV broadcast was aired, ODB's caseworker revoked his eligibility, and the rapper came under fire for mocking the system, or taking advantage of a system that ought to help the poor. In fact, many believe that ODB's actions indirectly led to the welfare reforms in 1996. In 1997, things didn't particularly get better for the rapper, as he was shot again and then sent to prison for not paying child support. While all of this happened, Wu-Tang Clan released their highly anticipated second album, Wu-Tang Forever. But due to the fact that ODB was holed up in prison half the time, he was unavailable for most of the album's music videos. However, as soon as he got out of jail, he got right back to being in trouble. At the 1998 Grammy Awards, P. Diddy won the Best Rap Album with No Way Out, beating Wu-Tang Forever. While the other members of the group took this on the chest, ODB grabbed the mic and expressed his disappointment over Diddy's win.
I went and bought me an outfit today that costed a lot of money today. You know what I mean? Because I figured that Wu-Tang was going to win. I don't know how y'all see it, but when it comes to the children, Wu-Tang is for the children. We teach the children. You know what I mean? Humpy is good, but Wu-Tang is the best, okay? I want y'all to know that this is ODB and I love you all. Peace.
And again, the arrest followed. After fighting with a security guard at House of Blues in LA, he was charged with assault. Months later, he got in trouble after he illegally wore a bulletproof vest. As soon as he got off the hook for that, he was caught with crack, and then charged with crack possession. Since he was heavily using at the time, the court forced him into rehab, but with only a month left on his sentence, he ran away from the rehab center. Eventually, ODB was sentenced to 4 years in prison, and this marked the beginning of the end for the highly talented rapper. His second and third albums didn't do as well as the first, and since they were even released while he was in jail, he could do nothing to improve their sales or reception, factors which slowly pushed him and his career to the background. By the time he got out in 2003, so much had changed in the music world, and ODB was lost in it. He got signed to Rockefeller Records and promised his fans a new album, but unfortunately, this album wouldn't happen while he was alive. In November 2004, while still working on the album, ODB visited a recording studio in Manhattan for a session. Before the session started, he complained of chest pains, but dismissed it and got to work instantly. Unfortunately, only a few hours later, he collapsed and died from a heart attack, which was caused by an overdose of cocaine and tramadol. To make this even worse, it was just 2 days before his 36th birthday. Interestingly, in a later interview, his son, Young Dirty Bastard, revealed that his father became a habitual drug user after he got out of jail.
He was cool, when I seen him, everything, he always cool. So, Dirty don't have no kind of, where you can get him on the day that he's up and he's down. Dirty's always cool, you know what I'm saying? He's just one of them type of people, you know what I'm saying? And the last time I seen him when we was together.
ODB's death was tragic, but it becomes even sadder when we realize how much more he could have achieved, or what more he could have been. Today, many rap fans believe that his behavior was enabled by almost everyone around him. His infamy was profitable, and it soon became the only thing everyone wanted from him. His struggles with substance and drug abuse were features of a man dealing with difficult mental illnesses, but the world watched and clapped to his antics, happy to watch him till he became dangerous to himself. ODB left behind 13 children, a musical legacy with Wu-Tang Clan, and a solo career that broke stereotypes. Was ODB really a rascal who just got fortunate to be rich and famous? Or was he simply a misunderstood genius?